Hi there. Today, I'm taking you 2,400 years back in time. In this episode, you'll meet a man called Nehemiah. He used to live in Israel, but had to move to Persia because his home was taken by the enemies. All of this had happened because the Israelites were disobedient to God. Now, Nehemiah served the Persian king as his cupbearer, which was quite an important job. He did his job well and was appreciated by the king. But he longed to get back home to Israel. Nehemiah loved his people and his country, but most of all, he loved God, who chose the Jews to be his people.
We have guests, Your Majesty. They've come from Israel, but they're not asking to see you, Your Majesty. They've come to see your cupbearer.
Of course. Go speak with your guests, Nehemiah.
Dear brother, what's going on?
Nehemiah, I came to tell you, the Jews left in Jerusalem are in big trouble. The wall around the city is broken down and the gates have been destroyed by fire.
But that means our holy city, it's open for all enemies to take. Lord, God of heaven, please listen to the prayer of your servant. We have wronged you greatly. We haven't kept the commandments you gave us. But remember the word that you gave Moses. If we are unfaithful, you will scatter us among the peoples. But if we keep your commandments, you will gather our people and bring us to the place that you have chosen. Lord, listen to the prayer of your servant and those who honor your name. Amen.
Tell me, why are you so sad, Nehemiah? You're not sick, so you must have a broken heart.
Long live the king. But why shouldn't I be sad when my home is in ruins and its gates destroyed by fire?
So, what do you need?
Well, if it pleases the king, please send me home so that I can rebuild the walls of Jerusalem.
Okay, hold on a second. So, usually a question like that could easily get a servant killed. But Nehemiah knew that God was with him. So, he knew he did the right thing. Okay, alright, keep going.
How long will you be away, and when will you return? I will give you every permission needed, and my best soldiers will join you.
Phew.
Why have you come here?
For a visit.
You can't enter.
Yes, I can. We have the king's permission. See? Let's check out the damage done to the wall. Listen, Jews, priests, officers and officials. You see the trouble that we're in. Jerusalem is in ruins, and its gates are destroyed by fire. Come on, let's rebuild the wall of Jerusalem so that we won't continue to be in disgrace. The Persian king gives us everything we need. God will make us succeed.
Yes, let's get this wall rebuilt.
I was wondering, why was it exactly Nehemiah that wanted to rebuild the wall? Because he lived all the way over in Persia. I think it was because he loved God so much. He couldn't just sit quietly and watch the holy city fall to ruins. He asked God for forgiveness of the sins of his people and promised to stay faithful. God saw that, and that's why he wanted to use Nehemiah. Next time, you'll see that it wouldn't be so easy to rebuild the wall. But because Nehemiah loved God and did as he commanded, God would help the Israelites in every situation. So, thanks for following along with this story, and we'll see each other again in another episode of Bible Heroes of Faith. See ya! Hi there! Today, I'm taking you 2,400 years back in time. Finally, I can tell you the rest of the story of a man called Nehemiah. He was a Jew who had just returned to Jerusalem after his people had to flee the country. Because the Jews were disobedient to God, Jerusalem was burned down by their enemies. But Nehemiah loved his people and his country, and most of all, he loved God, who chose the Jews to be his people. So Nehemiah came back to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem with his people. But not everybody was too happy about the building project going on. They had their own plans for Jerusalem.
Do they think they can fix things themselves? Do they think they can finish it in a day? Are they going to build the walls from the piles of rubble, even though they have been burned to the ground?
Even if a fox would climb on it, the wall would break.
But Nehemiah didn't listen to his negative neighbors. He just kept on working, trusting that God was with them.
Great work, everybody. We're halfway there already because you're working so hard.
But the wall is going to fall down. The stones are too broken. It's impossible to build.
Don't worry about it. God will support us in our work. It will succeed.
So the work on the walls is progressing, and the gaps are being closed. We have to do something!
Well, if we attack now, we can just walk through the gaps in the walls. Before they know it, we'll be inside the city to kill them and stop the work.
What a brilliant idea!
God had already warned Nehemiah about the attack. So they held guard day and night.
Everybody's very spread out along the wall. Listen, everybody. The enemy could attack at any moment. When you hear the trumpet sound, come and gather right here. Fight for your families, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses. Remember, the Lord is great and powerful.
From this day on, the builders did their work with the load in one hand and a weapon in the other. And Nehemiah had everyone working on the lowest parts of the walls first.
They have found out! Their god has spoiled our plan! What a stupid idea you had! We'll have to try something else. A trap!
Dear Nehemiah, we have heard that the building project is going well, and that there are no gaps left in the wall. Great job! Let's meet together over here. Kind regards, your neighbors.
But they just want to trick me. No way I'm walking into their trap. Sorry, I have important work to do. I can't come over.
Can't come down? I have heard that you are building this wall just to rebel and become king yourself. Now, the king wants to hear about this. So come, let's talk together.
Huh? None of this is true. You're just making this up.
Why won't they come?
They tried tricking Nehemiah like this several times. But Nehemiah simply trusted God and kept on building the wall. And after just 52 days, the wall was finished.
But that's impossible! That kind of work could only be completed with the help of their god.
Who knows what else they're capable of?
I don't want to know.
You see, in order to get their city back, the Jews had to build and fight at the same time. But God was with them and gave them the city as promised. And the same goes for us. We're not building on an actual wall, but we have to guard our hearts in order to protect them from evil and keep them pure for God. Just as they were holding a load in one hand and a weapon in the other, we should always do the good and at the same time fight against evil. We have to watch especially out for weak spots where we know bad thoughts want to enter our hearts. With God's help, I can keep my heart pure and be a servant for God, just like Nehemiah. So thanks for following along with this story, and we'll see each other again in another episode of Bible Heroes of Faith. See ya!